wrong 'un. Yes, I know, I've got to explain, because you're all asking exactly the same question in the comments. What happened to last night's live? I will tell you, 8 o'clock. I've come in a bit early tonight because we have a lot to talk about, and some of it is really, really, really important. So I'll tell you what the sermon's going to be at 8 o'clock. I've come in early to address some of the parish notes. As I say, I will get to those and some of the questions that you've been asking, because you know me, straight up and down, I'll tell you exactly why. We've got, how many questions? We've got four questions this evening, which I'll space out. Let's have a look at that, make sure that everything is fine and dandy. Lovely. Hang on, what's that? Interesting. I know it's gone quiet, but I'm just, I didn't realise there was so much chatter going on, but I will have a look. I just want to, very interesting. Very interesting. Is there a, someone from the dark side? Have they come across into the comments? Because I'm trying to find it. No, Chris, there's no quiz on tonight. Good evening, Adrian. Yeah, utter wrong, and says Paulie. Paul Morton. Evening, one and all. Evening, Paul. Welcome to the Body of the Kirk, as always. I haven't found... That's very funny, Les. What a boy. Because somebody said that there may be someone from the dark side in the comment. Can't see it. Very much regulars, unless I'm kind of speed reading it and taking too long to actually read it. Brilliant, Les. Lauren Taylor. What can I say? I am going to address my own potty mouth tonight, because I know some people like me, me sweary Mary, ranting Rev, but I am going to sort of pass comment this evening, if you don't mind, because there is Stephen Shepard, I will tell you in just a little while. Is that all right? Okay. So, as I say, we have a lot to talk about tonight, which is why I've come in a little earlier, so we can get to that. We'll get everybody into the body of the Kirk, because I believe, well, you can tell me that if I start early, YouTube may send out an alert, because there's already 100 in watching and in the body of the Kirk, and increasing rapidly. Just for your entertainment and delectation, I did say last night that I would put the link to hashtag together in the description of last night's live. I've put it in tonight's live. As I say, some of the stuff that I broadcast last night was vitally important. Some pieces of the jigsaw puzzle that we need to be aware of, because the reason I do these lives is because there is a community of critical thinkers here that don't, I mean, you know, we love the music because we're all passionate about our music, but there are ways and means of just spreading the word. So what I ask of you is only one thing. Just spread the word. And I know that my style is different to most, because YouTube says, oh, well, within 3 seconds, you've got to do this and you've got to do that. Well, no one tells me what to do. And I know that a lot of people love these lives primarily because I just drop stuff in there. And you're critical thinkers. Why would I need to babysit you? And why would I need to hold your hand? Some of the viewers, some of the community, the body of the Kirk, the parishioners, are like, they've got brains the size of 3 planets. I'm just a daft lad getting away with it. So I'm not going to hold your hand. I am going to point you in the right direction, as I will do tonight, because there's a lot going on, and I don't underestimate what's going on, and it's not an understatement to say there's tons of it. But I am going to wait until most people get in at 8 o'clock, and I've really enjoyed doing the research today because it's all coming together. I can now see through it. So I'm going to describe a jail for you, but not a jail in the usual sense, because they're setting you up. They're setting your kids up. They're setting your grandkids up. They're setting everything up. Now, this may get me into trouble, but I don't give a flying, because I'm not monetizing these lives, and that's why I don't monetize the lives. Because A, I'm not after the money. B, this is the pulpit of truth where we always tell the truth. And C, I want you to be safe. I want your family to be safe and thrive, your community to be safe. And forewarned is forearmed, so they say. And are we going to take up arms? Don't be stupid. All this malarkey. I saw somebody today doing and can you see I'm already going towards the randy element of the sermon tonight, and I don't want to do that. But I saw somebody going, oh, it's young men, it's young fighting age men. You do know that it's a distraction, don't you? You do know you're being played with. And you do know that they're laughing in your face. Fighting aged men, when there's tens of millions of fighting aged men in this country. And we've never, do you know, in the Second World War, we were the only country worldwide, the whole country, that was there on day one and was there on the last. So the day one in September 1939, we were there. First day, bang in. Because we told King Hitler, you mess about, Bonnie lad, we're coming after you. Oh, he messed about. So we spanked his ass. And then on the last day, 1945, we were in there. Not the Americans, not anybody else, not any European country. It was us. Us. So if they want to take us on, gan on then. Gan on. We're laughing at you. Because we'll absolutely fuck you up in ways you cannot imagine. And I'm talking to these fighting age men that certain people go, oh, it's fighting age men. It's because they've heard it somewhere else. They've heard somebody saying it, so they think, oh, that's good. Clicks and likes, clicks and likes, clicks and likes. I do these lives and I give you heads up way ahead of time. Tonight I'm going to give you heads up 5 years ahead of time. As the Manic Street Preachers once said, if you tolerate this, your kids will be next. And I've already told you what's going on, and now I'm going to give you the proof. So please, 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 all I ask of you is that family members, if they're intelligent enough, because, you know, there are some people that watch YouTube that haven't got 2 IQ points to rub together. I'm not interested in that. The community we have here is critically thinking and aware and awake, and they're too far gone. If the last 5 years has proven anything, those that have been boosted to buggery, we can't wake them up. We can't wake them up, even though they say, oh, well, you know, I realise you're going to be dead within 5 years. You're going to be dead by 2030. Bye. Bye. I don't judge anyone. Not anyone. But if they were thick enough to, oh, Boris Johnson has such lovely blonde hair, he's told me to take a prick. Ask his missus. Gets his regular. That's why they've got a fucking football team at home. Oh, I say, Adrian, we haven't even reached 8 o'clock yet. So Stephen Shepherd says, where's episode 202 gone? I'm going to tell you, 8 o'clock. Stuart says, evening, Rev. I've been feeling and smelling very fragrant lately. I've worked out what it is. It's all the bloody slices of Battenberg, Rev. I mean, I've been having 4 lives a week for months. Cheers for that. I'm sure, hope the family and Mrs. Stewart are very thankful that you're fragrant, young sir. Stewart says also, hey, hang on, what happened to last night's live? 202. I was going to watch it again when I got home and noticed it's gone. Correct. And as I say, 8 o'clock, 3 minutes, I'll tell you why. Les Griffiths says, thank you, Stuart, as always. Les Griffiths says, YouTube taking it down, though if they have, for the life of me, I can't see why, unless it's to do with Dougie's diary. Well, technically it was to do with Dougie's diary, but it's no outside influence. Stuart says to Les, oh, just thinking that. Les says, I'm heavy with pie. Oh, I say. I hope it's hairy, Les. Chilling out with a beer, listening to Tony Bennett. Pure bliss. And then I go and destroy it with me ranting madness, Les. I do apologise. And by the way, if you're coming into the body of the Kirk, don't wipe your feet on the way in. In fact, yes, wipe your feet on the way in and smash the likes. Thank you. We got over 200 last night, and it's now a regular thing, so long as I remind you. So 150 odd people in the body of the Kirk. Smash the likes. I know you're going to like tonight, and I've worked hard for you today. That's not a euphemism. Before you start, let's say, Stuart, it is either that or because I said Boris was a fanny with ears. That was very funny, Les. He is a fanny with ears. I think that's how Carrie holds on to him. Oh, Boris! Oh, Boris! Let's have another child! Oh, all right, darling. Escalation at Poland-Belarus border. Thank you, Les. I'm keeping it... Well, you know what I said a couple of nights ago? Oh, thank you, Paul. Appreciate your support, young sir. As I said the other night, Poland have gone, oh, we've got all this oil. Oh, up yours, Europe. We've got all this oil. We've got all this gas. We got billions of cubic meters of gas. So up yours, Europe. And all of a sudden, things are kicking off on the border. Oh, we know why, don't we? Because Poland's got all this wealth and Europe wants a bit of the action. Bless them. I thought it was well-hung lesbian action they were after. Right, let's get to it. I did say 8 o'clock. We're only seconds away. Evening, Lord Wookfit. Evening, Beata. I see you, Chris, Paul Butterfield. Evening, one and all. Tom Harneys and Neil Cunningham. And one and all. Welcome to the congregation. Welcome. Oh, a little Pink Floyd this evening, Paul. Shine on you, ranty diamond. I do love a bit of a rant, by the way. Other people have tried to copy me over since 1989. Not anywhere near. Nikki Watson. Oh, good evening all. Sorry for my absence. Been up north to see family. Hope everyone is well. Nikki, welcome to the body of the Kirk. It's good to see you back in the body of the Kirk. Obviously, Battenberg awaits you and Alta Wine. Sister Mary is, we don't need any more smelling salts. She's looking after the beer garden. So if you think the weather is appropriate and you need a small tincture that is going to quench one's thirst, then Sister Mary is your girl. Martine, Karen, Peter Christie, Paulie Gallieri, Charlie Barton, howdy Adrian, howdy folks. Evening, yeah, utter wrongin'. And Soul Rebel and Cuban Pete. Evening all, evening all, evening all. So it's a minute past 8. Let's get right into it. So you know that, and I mentioned this a few nights ago, that I've spent the majority of my life honing my skills, my tools, and my craft around broadcasting, whether it be radio or whether it's now YouTube. I'm looking at things and how to do them and how to hone my craft and my presentation skills here, just to make it a little bit more for you. You get value out of what I do. It's smoother on screen. Look, 2.5 years ago, I wouldn't have been able to do what I'm doing tonight. 2.5 years ago, I was, rusty, not done this kind of thing ever. So, I say, Neil Cunningham, got a large spiced rum and coke for medicinal purposes. Spiced rum is supposed to be very good for you. I'll have 3 bottles, thanks very much. So, evening, Amalia. Oh, so good, you're on time. You're wrongin'. Yes, started early. Yeah, wrongin'. Yes, Amalia, we were waiting for you. So, as I said a couple of nights ago, where I get my kicks is actually in the presentation of things to you, so that I can bring things that are not in the mainstream media, they're not in the British newspapers, they're kind of on the periphery, on the outskirts, and I just want to bring knowledge to you so that knowledge brings you context and thereby understanding. That's all I want to do for you. Last night, I felt personally that it fell short. I felt that it wasn't good enough. And look, I'm not asking you to comment. Just listen to what I've got to say, because I know people will go, "Oh no, it was fine. It was fine." It wasn't. It wasn't to my level. It wasn't to what I want to bring here. I don't think that Dougie's Diaries worked at all. I think what I do around certain people and certain things is good enough for the lives. So to change it and try and smart it up, no, that's just not happening. So I was I finished the live last night. The technical issue right at the very end didn't help. But what I want to bring to you is both informative and entertaining in varying ways, whether it's an insight into politics, geopolitics, or what's going on in the world, or whether it's just a sly dig at a pervert that likes listening to the Fun Boy 3 or the Four Tops. So it's all that. So I just decided, and there was something that I'm not going to bring here, but I said certain things last night that I felt were unfair, and I'm not going to allude to anything other. They know who I'm talking about. I felt it was unfair. Someone's been very supportive and very insightful and very caring towards me, and I just was. It was unacceptable. It was not proportionate. It wasn't appropriate. It was just unfair. And there were things going on yesterday in my private life that I was struggling with, and that just came out in what I did last night. So it kind of had something to do with Dougie, but I'm just saying to you that I always want to bring value to you in the way that I present things here. And I know there are other YouTubers that come here and see what I'm talking about, because invariably I'm ahead of the curve. I don't do what's in the media, because whatever is reported in the morning will be what has kind of appeared or happened this evening. So I'm not behind the curve. I'm ahead of it. If I'm predicting stuff in December that's now happening, I'm 6 months ahead. I'm not taking my guidance from British newspapers. I'm ahead of that particular curve. So oh, right, okay. Amalia Grassi, hello, good to see you. Amalia, welcome to the Body of the Kirk. Neil, that's very kind of you. Thank you very much. And it's in reflection, as I've said many times. It's the old Socrates quote: "Life without introspection has no worth at all." So today, I've got time and space because I'm on my own. New Mrs. Allen is away working, and I just reflected on last night and the last couple of lives. And that's why I've worked even harder today to bring you stuff that you won't get anywhere else. Because, as I say, standard wasn't great last night. Dougie's Diaries didn't work. So I'm just reflecting on it and getting on with stuff. I said to you last night, Louise Hampson, Ozzy Osbourne, R.I.P. Did that last night, Louise. And I mean, it's still... 76 is no age, really, nowadays. I mean, you would expect most people to get into their 80s and their 90s. 80s is a good score. If you get into your 90s, well, then you've a life well lived. Either that, you've not rock and rolled, baby. But yes, I kind of get it. It's front page of the Sun and the Mirror and the Daily Mail today, amongst others. But why are we sort of saddened by... I mean, if I said to you, how many Black Sabbath songs can you mention? War Pigs, maybe. Paranoid, maybe. But Ozzy, I feel, was more famous for the telly stuff and for Sharon. She's a great marketer, absolutely great marketer. Les Griffiths, 76 in a lifetime of abusing his body. I mean, he was doing brown, he was doing H, he was doing horse, he was doing, heroin. Sorry, I had to just check myself to make sure this wasn't monetized. Because, I mean, he just lived his life, baby. So, rest in power, rest in peace, whatever. There's no recreational gear in heaven, Ozzy, sorry, and alcohol. Phil Sumner says, it takes a man to be always open and honest, but it takes an even better man to admit he made a mistake and learn from it. I've made plenty, Adrian. Good man. Thank you very much, Phil. Appreciate that. And yet, that's what life's all about. Life is about finding yourself, knowing yourself. And if you can have a moment of reflection to kind of go, wow, that didn't really work, did it? No. I didn't even have to listen to it. I just knew when I was presenting Dougie's Diaries, it didn't work on any level. I should really have told you and just said it. Amalia Grassi says, Dad's 86, and the older I get, the more I rely on him. May he have another 20 years ahead. I know mine are not around anymore, Amalia. I miss my mum literally every day, every single day. She went in 2018, and it's now 7 years down the line, and I still think about her. I still smile, just everything. The worst thing that you can do to spirit is forget them. So I'm not going to talk about the other half of my parentage because he was a caring, understanding 90s type. Didn't protect me when I needed it. So in the words of the great Chinese philosopher, he can fox to Oscar. And the other thing I want to say to you, last night it was a real potty mouth live as well. And there was some unnecessary potty mouth. Sometimes I'll use it for humour and joke and comedy. And sometimes I just got a little bit too close to potty mouth hell. So, and on reflection, that shouldn't be happening. Paul Mabley, thanks for the support. It was shite like. Oh, brilliant. Mike's Alligators. Adrian, what happened to leaving the stuff there for reference in the future, whether you like it or not, or letting the audience decide? Mike's Alligators, go fuck yourself. Absolutely go fuck yourself. I've just told you the reasons why, on reflection. And obviously, you need another booster. Go fuck yourself. And you know, I will accept constructive criticism. You don't actually know what I've decided to do with 202. You have no knowledge, but straight in with the knife, go on, I'll stab you in the front. I'm the originator. This is the pulpit of truth. I come here to give you things that make you understand what's going on. And I've been waiting all day because it's suddenly starting to trickle out about Brit Card. Have you heard about it yet? This is your digital ID. Now remember, this channel told you in 2024, out of Tony Blair's mouth, an individual digital identifier. I told you that a year ago. So you were aware, but there's so much going on. And as I say, the British politicians, and I'm going to give you my summation on British politics and American politics and the geopolitics. I'm actually going to tell you what I feel is going to happen. And knowing about Brit, sorry, I'm pointing there because it's on my TV screen, on my computer screen. I need to tell you about the Brit Card. Because I told you over a year ago about the individual digital identifier out of Tony Blair's mouth. Now, remember, I also told you, if you vote for Keir Starmer, is he scaring you yet? If you vote for Keir Starmer, you're going to get Tony Blair and Mandy Mandelson. Oh, Roger me with a paddle. You know what's happened with Mandy Mandelson? Yeah, good friend with Jeffrey Epstein. I also told you in December, Jeffrey Epstein was going to make an appearance this year. Oh, we'll get into that later. So all the really important stuff, for those that kind of tune in and stay for half an hour, 40 minutes, just to see what I'm talking about, you may watch it the following day because there's going to be a lot of information in this. I would suggest the second hour, you keep your eyes open and these open, because the stuff that I'm going to tell you in the second hour that's going to make your hair curl and put hairs on your chest, sadly, mostly for the women. So I want to talk about Brit Card. Stay with me. Just give me 2 hours tonight. That's all I ask you. Just give me 2 hours. Because the stuff that I'm going to give you will make you see life and the world and what is going on very, very differently. So I told you a year ago, individual digital identifier. It's now called Brit Card. And Brit Card is a progressive digital identity for Britain. Oh, the marketing. What can I say? You lying bunch of caring, understanding 90s types. They won't have bloody progressive digital identifiers for the MPs, will they? Of course not. Not when they're shagging rent boys in Portcullis House that they order on a WhatsApp group. No, 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 no. They're all in deviants. And without going into too much detail or naming the source, BDSM is rife in Ozempic Palace. Oh, do you know James Not So Cleverly? I can use that now because he's back again. Kemi Not Good Enough, she's got him back in her cabinet. Well, James Not So Cleverly, I've seen him on the telly today. James, I'm not using fat jabs, cleverly. I will bare my backside in Harrod's window if that boy is not on a fat jab. He's lost too much weight too quickly. And they're all large in it on, that's drinking before you say anything. And all the food. I mean, we'll talk about Ginger Growler, 2 beds. You know, she's ordered 2 beds. I mean, she must be bouncing those springs and getting through those beds. She's ordered 2. $7,000 it's cost you. No, not her. Taxpayer. That'll be me and you. Anyway, Brit Card. A progressive digital identity for Britain. Now, you can go to the Labour Party website and download this as a PDF, which I have, but it's going to take me days, if not weeks, to kind of get into the minutiae and into the detail. So I'm going to read it, because if I read it, then you will know when you go and do your own research, you will know that I haven't altered it. And for integrity reasons, I'm not going to alter it, because this is breathtaking. So, Brit Card, a progressive digital identity for Britain. And this is how it reads. For a progressive society to work, it needs to be able to collectively agree who is allowed to join it, because it will exclude those who cannot join it. It needs to give its members proof that they belong. And I'm not going to comment until I've read it all. The UK doesn't do this. Our conflicted historic approach to issuing identity credentials has led to a situation that represents the worst of both worlds. We currently can't effectively stop people from living and working in our country illegally, nor can we efficiently support legal citizens and residents to exercise their rights. This paper makes the case for the introduction of Brit Card, a mandatory national digital identity that would be issued free of charge. No, it's not. The taxpayers would pay through the fucking nose. It will be issued free of charge to all those with the right to live or work in the UK, whether they are British-born nationals or legal migrants. The Brit Card would be a verifiable digital credential downloaded onto a user's smartphone. So now you know what they were doing in lockdown with the NHS app. It's coming. Which could be instantly checked by employers or landlords using a free verifier app. So there's going to be 2 apps. There's going to be one where you download it onto your phone and you go, look, I've got it. And then they get a verifier app that somebody else is going to make money from to verify that what you've got on your phone is legal and true. By introducing a mandatory universal national identity credential, Brit Card, the Labour government has the opportunity to build a new piece of civic infrastructure. Something that will become a familiar feature of daily life for everyone in the country. It would support better enforcement of migration rules and protect vulnerable British citizens from being wrongly denied their rights. It could end identity exclusion, resolving uncertainty and risk for those whose status is uncertain. and providing a quick, secure, privacy-preserving means for everyone to verify their identity and their migration status when dealing with government, when taking up a new job, or taking on property. That is the most important part of it. It could lay the foundations for a fully functioning digital identity system that would in time deliver huge benefits in terms of great efficiency or greater efficiency and better outcomes in public services, as well as being a driver of growth, building on the existing One Login and gov.uk wallet. Our polling suggests it would be immensely popular. They're talking out of their backsides. They reckon around 80% of the public support use of digital identity for a range of use cases. You know what's coming, don't you? I'm going to ask you a question in a second. All the necessary elements of the technology needed to deliver Brit Card. Notice how they've done it. Oh, yeah, we can wear the Union. No, we can't wear the Union flag. Oh, we can take Union flag and we can fly it from our... Oh, no, we can't. So how are they going to sell it to us? Well, it's called Brit Card. You know what Brit Card is? It's short for shite. Brit Card exists and are already in use in multiple arenas. The additional cost would be modest relative to other forms of infrastructure. We estimate, guesstimate, not estimate, between 140 and 400 million pounds of taxpayers' money to spaff for this. Applying internet era test and learn design practices, that's AI to me and you, to the development of the Brit Card, I do hope you realise what they're doing, would help to avoid the pitfalls faced by some public sector digital platforms by embodying the highest standards of transparency and engaging in meaningful co-design. The government, the crooks, has stated time and again its ambition to make the best possible use of technology to serve the public. With Brit Card, it would be making a reality of that aim. In the first part of this paper, we explain why Brit Card is needed, setting out the likely risks and benefits. Notice how they go, risks, benefits, and putting it in the context of the government's wider migration strategy. They haven't got one. And approach to digital identity. Individual digital identifiers, as I told you a year ago. In the second part, we discuss how the government could implement Brit Card, exploring the costs, delivery approach, and technical specifications. So the summary of recommendations is this. Given the very significant political and delivery benefits, moderate costs, and the deliverability of this policy, the government should announce as early as possible in summer 2025. I'll leave that with you for a second or two. I'm going to repeat that bit. The government should announce as early as possible in summer 2025. So where are we? So the government's going to have to announce its intention to explore introducing a digital right to work. Oh, if you upset them, you are off you go. Give us your digital identifier. You're unemployed. So they're going to introduce a digital right to work and a right to rent credential as part of its plan to tackle illegal migration. It should also make a robust and up-to-date assessment of the current undocumented population. Agree a digital identity strategy at the Digital Interministerial Group. Try saying that when you had a few beers. Digital Interministerial Group. That's like that. Most of the public organisations, NHS, police and fire, they use interoperability. Try saying that when you've had a sherbet. So, agree a digital identity strategy at the Digital Interministerial Group with Home Office involved as an extraordinary member. That'll be Yvette Cooper then, as well as at DG level, with a new working group with representatives from all relevant departments. They're going to hire, obviously, they're going to give somebody money, hire a very senior, high profile, and experienced political figure, head or tech sector professional, to be the cross government champion, an external face of its digital identity program. Make clear that digital identity is a top prime ministerial priority through a high-profile launch and strategy white paper. Develop a technical specification and policy case for a digital right-to-work credential, a joint project between the Department for Science, Innovation and Technology and Home Office as Identity and Migration Lead Department. Prototyping and service design testing should also be part of this process. We're nearly finished. Convene a new stakeholder working group. Oh, stakeholder capitalism, anybody? Klaus Schwab at the World Economic Forum have obviously come up with this idea. Convene a new stakeholder working group to participate in development of this project, including and pioneering innovative co-design practices, going beyond just consultation. Central to this working group should be the inclusion of excluded or marginalized group as priority user cohorts. Middle-aged gingers, anybody? Middle-aged white men gingers, anybody? They want to. The government wants to ensure accessibility for those with low digital skills. Hang on, can you use your fingers? And non-smartphone owners, including the provision of in-person support channels. Prioritise trust and transparency across the development and deployment of the Brit Card, giving users control of how and when their data is used, and adhering to a test and learn approach. They want to allocate funding to support the development of the Brit Card digital identity system, following best practice for funding digital teams. Learn the lessons from other successful rapid tech delivery projects, such as the NHS app, the COVID Pass, EU Settled Status Scheme. What the is the EU doing in any of this? Oh, sorry, remember Backdoor Starmer? He took us back into the EU via the back door. So the EU are going to control this. You don't believe me? Just kiss your ass goodbye. And universal credit. So if you're on benefits, you're fecked. Embed digital era working practices in the new project team, including definition and regular publication of usability metrics, as in onboarding success rate for people without passports. Rebrand the gov.uk app and the gov.uk wallet as the Brit Card app. That is word for word what's on the Labour Party's website. Now, as I say, I've downloaded the PDF, and I know some people are obviously thinking, oh, that's not very interesting. Well, it's not, because they're the ones, the arseholes, that took both the jab and the boosters. We don't judge here, but don't worry about them. They're going to be dead within 5 years. So there's one word in all of that is important you recognise. They're making it mandatory. And I've told you over the last few nights, 2030 is the deadline. They want it all done by 2030, but it will be implemented by 2027. So what they're going to do is they'll launch it. The white paper will go into the House of Commons August 21st. August 21st is the start of the process. And I do believe that we need to actually let these clowns know in the Ozempic Palace that we are not for doing it. Sam says, Ian McGee, USA got one as well. It's worldwide. The puppet masters in the shadows, this is worldwide. The World Economic Forum, why do you think it's so successful? This is what they want. Tony Blair is on the board of the World Economic Forum. Do you need me to tell you that again? I'll just say Davos. You know what I'm talking about. Tony Blair was co-opted this year onto the board of the World Economic Forum. He's evil, in my view. He's abjectly evil. And let me tell you something else, because you missed it. I've told you repeatedly, virtually weekly, since the launch of this channel. Just Google Charles Linton with a Y. Bow Street Magistrates. But the point that you missed, and that's why I'm bringing it up tonight, I keep telling you that the politicians that rise to prominence and power, the people in the shadows, the puppet masters, have something on them. So there was Tony Blair up at Bow Street Magistrates for going on to certain heaths and doing things to other men, and he was found guilty. So then they've got him. They've got him. He's the patsy. They know what he does, they know what he's doing, and then they just bring him in and just put him in place. So he will do as he is told. So I'm telling you this now, and I'm also asking you the question, which other Labour Prime Minister do you think they had compromising stuff on? That's how they control them. One nation under blackmail. It's exactly how they control them in America. Israel rules the world, or should I say, the intelligence agency, Mossad, rules the world, because they have all this blackmail on all the high-flying political luminaries, and they've got everything on them. And I'm telling you, it's they've got some really dark shit on people. Frazzle drip, anyone? Do not put it in the comments under any circumstances. I can say it, you cannot put it into the comments. And if you start looking for it on the net, you're in deep doo-doo. Frazzle drip will eventually come out. It's only a matter of time. Les, I know he committed the offences, but once you've committed an offence, they've got you. So the puppet masters are like, oh, brilliant, we'll get the devil in my view. We'll get the devil in. And that's why the Tories did that poster with Blair in the devil's eyes. They knew. Les says Israel's about to be dealt with. Why do you think Netanyahu went across to see Trump a couple of days after they were going to release all of the Epstein files? And then all of a sudden they're not releasing the Epstein files. Because Bibi went, oh, come on, Donald, you can't do that. It's going to compromise all of our intelligence works. One nation under blackmail. So let's get back to Brit Card. I want everybody that's watching this live tonight to understand this is mandatory. There's no exit. There's no out. There's nothing. If this goes through Parliament, and they are going to try their damnedest to have it go through Parliament, it's mandatory. Now, you have your driver's license. You have your NHS number. You have your varying wallets that, remember, they wanted us to get used to having stuff on our smartphones. So your passport's not on your smartphone yet, but Brit Card will be, and that will replace your passport. Brit Card will replace your driver's license, because the system, and this is above and beyond politicians and above and beyond the police and above and beyond law enforcement, they know who you are. So you won't be able to work if they don't allow you. They've already said right to work. They'll rescind that. And you need, and as I say, please just give me 2 hours tonight, or whenever you're walking the dogs. Please just give me 2 hours, because this is one of the most important things you have had put in front of your eyeballs ever. Because this is not playing. This is not the 70s or the 80s or the 90s when we were all fuzzy with warmth. That's obviously incontinence. But we are now 2025. They're 2 years away from the deadline. They are 5 years away from it absolutely being cast iron in law. Not only are they going to control what you do for work, not only are they going to control... So look, driver's license, they'll take the car away. Your passport, they'll stop you from travelling. The right to work, they'll stop you from work and impoverish you, and you won't be able to get anything from the state. Unless, of course, you go down to Canary Wharf and get a fucking hotel room for 400 quid a night, whilst everybody else is knocking their pipe out trying to put food on the table for their kids. These illegal immigrants, 400 quid a night. Can you afford that? I couldn't stay at this hotel that they're getting freebies for. But here's why I've just mentioned that. This Brit Card also, Barry Benson's asked the questions, how do we oppose it? I'm going to tell you in a second. If you go to the description of this video, of this live, it has a link to #together because they are on it. I've told you at the beginning, if you tolerate this, your children will be next. But you're getting it. You really want Starmer to bend you over and him shove his ministerial political cock up your arse? Because that's what you're getting here. You're about to be fucked royally. And I mean to use that word because this is so important. I don't want you to shy away and say, oh, well, we can't really do anything about it. Yes, you can. You've had 5 years' experience of these ne'er-do-wells, the clowns in Ozempic Palace, and what they did to you. Boris Johnson, he wants to come back politically to run the Tory party. Would you allow that? Don't be fucking stupid. They were all in on it. They were all in on the grift. They're all multi-millionaires. And I've got 2 words to say to you as far as 5 years ago goes. Michelle Mone. Has she been in court yet? Of course she hasn't, because they were all at it. So I'm saying to you, please just give me this time tonight. Not only will they control where you travel and how you travel, and to those people that have left this particular live, good luck with that, because you're shafting your kids. You're shafting your kids, you're shafting your grandkids. And remember, the wealthy, this is not the rich, this is the wealthy where money doesn't matter. They plan for 3 generations. Look at the Queen as the example. She had her children, as many as possible, and then her children started having kids, and now her grandchildren have had children. She knows there's been 3 generations in her lifetime. She secured the monarchy until Charles the Weak fucked it up. But not only are they doing the right to work and travel and drive, and look, it's in China. They've already got it. It's a social credit system. If you don't do as you are told, according to the Communist Party or the Marxist or the Trotskyist that are in power, you're going nowhere. You won't have a job. You won't have a car. You won't have a roof over your head. You can borrow the tents from the illegal migrants and go and live under the bypasses. But the illegal migrants, oh, come in. And then what they're going to do is the right to rent is going to be on your Brit Card. So if you do, look, we all make mistakes in life. If you're going to make a mistake, straight on your Brit Card. Oh, he's got a record. I've got thousands of them. Vinyl, anyone? So the right to rent, they're going to control the housing stock. Now, remember, over time, they want to sell off the housing stock to BlackRock, State Street, Vanguard, JP Morgan. They want to sell it off. It's not coming back. When the housing stock and land and farmland is controlled by the government and or, how can I describe them? Evil organizations, they don't come back into the housing stock. They control it. And that's why Brit Card is there. It's to get you controlled. Do as you are told. No ifs, ands, or buts. It's there to make your life intolerable. Unless you kowtow and do exactly what the government tells you to. Chinese Communist Party, they're already doing it in China. Those little Chinese, no wonder they want to be over here in the working over here and gambling over here. So, ghetto defendant, says to Lauren Taylor. Les Griffith says, Ray, monitor the rhetoric aimed at Obama. It's coming. He's not even American, Obama. So how can they do him for treason? Ghetto defendant says, both passports and driving license contain biometrics. When was the last time you were asked to provide your face fingerprints at the doctor's, hospital, submit a tax return, claiming pension, etc.? You know they've already got your biometrics. All of it. Why? Can you not remember the iPhone when you used your thumb or your fingers to be able to get into your phone? And then they changed it to facial recognition. They were data harvesting all of this for the government. They've been at it for 20 years. 2008. Reg D. Yes, I still have it. Yes, I live in the UK. I mean, I've got my, the paper bit of your driver's license. I'm not giving that up. Ray Norton says the Crown own the land that your house is on. Not sure about that, Ray. I don't think they do. They own quite a bit. They do own all of the foreshore around the country. So when lifeboats launch, they have to pay the Crown every single time. That's interesting. So we're getting down a rabbit hole that we probably need another 5 lives for. Ray Norton says, Terry, they own your birth certificate. Look up Strawman. So we're getting into the legal entity of who you are. And there's so many different thinking. So what I want to do is not go too deeply into this. I wanted you to understand and know what the Labour government are up to. And this is the start. It is the start. As I say, the Geopolitical. Oh, that's very interesting, English bottle cap. Not got an iPhone, but do twins not have problems with facial recognition? I am aware of a case in Wales when I was there 20 years ago where identical twins were tried for murder and they couldn't work out which one of them actually murdered this other human. And because they were identical, blood group, facial recognition, everything, they couldn't try them because the prosecution would have been unsafe. So if you're a murderer, and I did think about writing a book about this, if you're a murderer, make sure you've got an identical twin. Hang on a second. Property deeds. This is from Theo Bovril. Property deeds no longer legally exist, now replaced by a certificate of entitlement. The right of ownership no longer exists. Blair changed all this. Now, even though it's 2025, Blair was in power, got into power in 1997, and he was puppeted by the World Economic Forum before he got into power. Blair's been at it for decades and decades and decades. So he was chosen. So when he got into power, he did all the bidding. Not Manchurian candidate style, but he was still doing the bidding of a foreign NGO, non-governmental organisation, the World Economic Forum. And I will tell you that the jail that they are trying to construct involves the United Nations, UN, NATO, North Atlantic Treaty Organisation, and the World Health Organisation. Those 3 organisations, front and centre, will control you. And your Brit Card will be there bidding. You won't be able to travel. You won't be able to work. You won't be able to feed. You won't be able to live with a roof over your head. So that's why getting onto the Together website, I've put the link in the description, get on there and let your feelings be known. From August 21st, that's why I'm doing it now. You think that I've lasted since 1989 doing this kind of stuff, and I've done it because I've danced furiously. But it's now really important that I tell you and make you aware of what is coming. And just remember this, we have 5 years. That's all, 5 years. This is not some dystopian doom and gloom live. We have 5 years, because beyond 2030, they're going to stop you doing everything. And I do mean everything. If you don't do as you are fucking told, your name's not down, it's not on the computer, poof, well, hang on, so I can't buy anything over £1,000? Correct. So I can't spend food or something up to £300? Correct. No house, no job, no ability to spend over £1,000 on anything. That includes the car. That's why you're going to have 15-minute cities. Oh, hadn't you worked this out yet? It's mission creep. Since 1997, the World Economic Forum mission creep. And you've just gone, oh, hang on a second. Yeah, X Factor's coming on tonight. you are being rogered senseless by shadow puppeteers. And if you allow this, you're allowing Starmer to bend you over. And remember, I will reiterate it again. What have they got on some of the prime ministers this country's had that makes them do as they are told? Look at Edward Heath. Shagged rent boys and ditched them in the channel. Do your research. But he was a lovely fella. He got us into Europe. He was told what to do. He didn't have any free speech, free thought. No, he was told what to do. Look, Ted, mate, if you don't do as you're told, well, it's all going to come out. Out. And you think that the prime ministers are the most powerful people in this country? Hard away and shite, man. They're not powerful. They're puppets. They're told what to do. And if it's an NGO, non-governmental organisation, makes them a Manchurian candidate. If they're working on behalf of the Chinese Communist Party, and I've already said to you what the Chinese are doing in Davos every year, the locals are sick and tired of them. Too many of them, as they keep telling me. So Brit Card, have you seen what they've done? National pride. It's got Brit in it. So it makes it more acceptable to you. And if you think, so I'll give you this example. 5 years ago, we're locking you down 4 to 6 weeks to flatten the curve. Remember those words. Flatten the curve, 4 to 6 weeks. 2 years later, that blonde-haired clown is still knocking kids out, having beers at parties, and so was Starmer, and so was Sunak. They were all at it. They're all corrupt to the core. Power corrupts. Absolute power corrupts absolutely. They did it to you. You couldn't leave your fucking house. You were rattling your pots and pans every Thursday night. Oh, yeah, brilliant. While the doctors and nurses were doing all in the hospitals, some of them actually did the wrong thing. Putting them in oxygen tents and stuff. Wrong thing. Now, I'm sure the doctors will come on and go, well, blah, 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 blah. But I don't trust doctors as far as I can them. The doctors, by the way, as a little aside, they're going to go on strike. What for? More money. Jesus H, how much money do you need? 100 grand a year plus. And they haven't got enough money. They became doctors because it's a license to print money. They don't care about you. I mean, look, I watched The Resident. You need to watch that series. Neil Cunningham says, sorry, I know I'm kind of dancing around. Neil Cunningham says, we all belong to the state. Anything that has register or registry, the reg comes from Regina. Shame it's not vagina. Albert Metcalf says, do what you like, mate. We still love you. Brilliant, Albert. Are we having two different conversations? Marley Grassy says, I've not heard of this before. Mum was born in 1936 and my aunt before that, but they didn't have one. Yeah, Beata's right, as is Stuart, and doing videos on TikTok, making dancing videos. I know. Were they not under pressure? And let's have a word with Michelle Moan. Oh, do you know the protective gear that we spunk 200 million on, that you made 30 million profit on, just chucked in the ground? It was shite, seemingly. Not that I'm going to wear bloody bras. Jackie Glasgow says, bloody hell, just renewed my passport, 90 odd quid. 90 odd quid. At least Dick Turpin wore a mask. The NHS is getting nasty. Sent me a text by mistake. Sounded like a threat. Glad it wasn't me. Well, I mean, I just delete the fucker. I'll block it. If they, like I said, 5 years ago, they got the infrastructure in place for this without telling you. And remember, Infosys, daddy, daughter, married to Rishi Sunak, Prime Minister of this country, they all wanted this contract. They all wanted this contract because it's a license to print money in perpetuity, forever. Blair wanted it, Infosys wanted it, and then The Chinese Communist Party says, oh, we've got one in our country, so we can come into your country and just replicate it. And Sunak went, sling your hook, Bonnie lad, you can go off. So the Chinese Communist Party isn't getting it. But the two things that you want to work out, you want to watch out for, who gets the contract, but who is it that's going to front it? And how much are they being paid? Because it's taxpayers' money. It's a freebie. Ian McGee says, birth certificates hands you over to the Crown to do as they see fit. Or go to a Rothschild's party. You've heard of those, don't you? The human hunting. If you haven't, don't look for it online. One day when we get into the memberships, I'll tell you behind the paywall. English bottle cap. Rex is Latin for king and Regina means queen. Well, I think it might be vagina for Charles the Weak because he's a proper fanny. Les, can't you smoke it? Burlington Bertie, too much confirmation bias in the chat. Okay. Get a defendant, 40 Capstan full strength, please. Can you swipe your Brit card, please? They will. Can you imagine? As I've said before, why don't they get a doctor's surgery receptionist and stick her on the beach at Kent? Won't get half as many in. But, and I've told you for months, how they're going to style it and how they're going to sell it into you is it's going to be called Brit now, as we know, and they're going to give you a solution to a problem you didn't realize you had. But we knew about the illegal immigrants since 1997. I told you how it started in 1997. The Germans were taking 100,000 per year. And Germany said to both France and Britain, oh, will you give us a break, lads? We're taking 100,000 a year. Britain, you're taking 21,000 a year, and France, you're taking about 35,000 a year. Can you not kind of take up the slack and take some more illegal immigrants? And Tony Blair went, yeah, no problem. So him and Robin Cook, how did he die? He was as fit as a butcher's dog, that boy. Heart attack. Really? So Tony Blair and Robin Cook signed the treaties of Nice and Rome. And within those treaties, because they were foreign treaties, as we find out with two-tier Kia, because it's a foreign treaties, doesn't have to go through Parliament. So the World Economic Forum are building all these foreign treaties that we have to adhere to. And I've said to you repeatedly, multiple times on these lives, they say international law. I say Foxtrot Oscar. We've got nukes on our soil now. That's international law. If you want to hook about with us, just tell us, because we'll nuke every last one of you in Europe. We'll make that a wasteland. All of you. 3 generations, you can kiss your ass goodbye. Auf Wiedersehen, pet. See what I did there? So, well, Amalia's kind of, on a lighter note, yeah, okay, I get the point. And John Smith before Cook. John Smith would have been a brilliant Prime Minister. But the powers that be, World Economic Forum, decided he was not the man. They wanted Tony Blair in because they could control Tony Blair. They couldn't control Robin Cook. They couldn't control John Smith. Men of integrity. I mean, even David Blunkett. Bloody hell, man. He was shagging somebody else's wife. And he wants to write articles in newspapers telling us how to be. Suggesting he has integrity as he rollicks. Shagging somebody else's wife. He should have been kicked out of politics immediately and his dog taken off him. They're morons. They are called moronic people, MPs. But this Brit card is I've never experienced anything so dangerous other than the NHS app. But remember, at the end of that, they are saying, and I'll say it to you again, learn the lessons from other successful rapid tech delivery projects, such as the NHS app. We all used it in lockdown. COVID pass. See what they're trying to do there. Because it would have been easier if they got the COVID pass in and we couldn't live our lives without it, and they were just going to go, oh, we're just going to amalgamate everything and call it a Brit card. But also, the EU Settled Status Scheme. Do you know something? Starmer's going to go straight to hell. He's not even going to get a harp or wings or a halo. He's going straight to hell. He thinks he's clever. So I'm going to ask you this simple question before we move on. Neil, that is funny. It's an old gag, but it is funny. Matthew Whedon, it's bound to fail. Don't rely on it's bound to fail. Make it fail. Make it fail. I've already registered. I've already done my vote. I do things in the background. I lend my individual weight to things. No, there was a gag there. I'm not going to go for it. But I was going to say to you, Terry Wookford, EU Settled Status was the registration scheme to allow EU nationals to stay in the UK and work after Brexit. Also allowed entitlement to benefits. So the minute you get into France, there's your Brit card. What have we given France nearly £1 billion for? Probably to buy Macron's husband new wigs. Brilliant, Les. I'm not cracking that one. But the point I want to make is this. We've had 5 years since March 2020 when they announced the lockdown to flatten the curve. They lied. They announced the lockdown. It would only be 4 to 6 weeks. Remember them saying that? It wasn't. It was nearly 2 years. I personally witnessed huge youth gatherings. They weren't even supposed to be out of their homes. It was all lies. Sunak apologised because it was a death match between him and Johnson as to who would be Prime Minister. And Sunak knifed, in my view, Boris Johnson. It was a death match. But Sunak broke the rules and then apologised. And then Starmer, pizza and beer. You know, doesn't even know whether he's Arthur or Martha, that bloke. Does his wife? Des Ashton says, yeah, where's Chris Shitty? Probably earning a few bob from advising people. But we've had 5 years of this. We had the NHS app. We had COVID pass. Remember where the kids couldn't even go out to nightclubs. It didn't affect them. It was like a mild flu. Oh, no, it's dangerous. And notice how they want us to attach ourselves to a Brit card. There's a comedy opening there. I'm trying to think of the nationalities. Would we have a Cook card? And that says C-U-C-K before you start. What will be America's card? Am card? As opposed to Amex? Ray Norton says, Blunkett's... No, I'm not doing those. Where's Chuka Hamuna when you need him? Chucking it. Martin, my uncle hung himself during COVID. I couldn't go to his funeral while they, the politicians, were partying. I'm sorry to hear that, Martin. I am very, very sorry. Do you think Starmer will resign or be forced out by his party? Dom is going to be forced out. There's going to be one too many. I mean, look, if I was psychic, I'd be winning the bloody lottery every weekend. I'm not. But I would suggest that if they want rid of him, something will come out over the summer. Not him. He's not out yet. Just ask Lord Ali. And there'll be another scandal. And they'll get rid of him. It'll be, thanks very much. You got us into power. 18 months as Prime Minister. There's your free security and for life. And you'll go into the House of Lords eventually after Boris Johnson and his daughter. Couldn't see me lips move. Those that know, know. Fern. Wedding, 15 people only. I didn't attend my son's wedding. Unless, of course, you were what's-her-face. Oh, man, the singer that I don't believe can sing. And she went, it was her 30th birthday party, and she invited all of her mates. And then it just came out out into the press, and she had to bugger off to Australia for a year or two until it all died down. No, Kaz. He could end up Rita Ora. Thank you, Toka. Rita Ora, I know. Still, to this day, as others have said in the chat, couldn't go to weddings, couldn't go to funerals, and yet that monstrosity decided to have a 30th birthday party, and when it hit the press, oi, 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 oi. Kaz says he could end up being Lord Starmer of Kamikaze. No, I think it's more appropriate if he's Lord Starmer of the back door. Starmer will be finished after the Liverpool Labour Party conference. Will they finish him after, or will they finish him before? He won't see the end of 2025 as the leader of the Labour Party. They'll want, and it could be that it's this Brit Card demonstration that will finish him, because everybody knows where it's come from. But I'd also put on your radar, because I know we're finishing the first hour, and I've asked for 2 from you tonight, 2 hours. Why have they just erected a massive fence around the House of Lords? Just asking for a friend who said to me today, oi, massive erection outside of the House of Lords. I said, who's that? Starmer? They have erected a massive metal fence around the House of Lords. I don't know whether it's the whole of the Palace of Westminster, but I saw Rupert Lowe do a video a little earlier talking about it and showing you the fence. It's like a 10-foot high fence. Why would they do that if they weren't scared that there was going to be civil unrest? They know it's coming. Now remember, Churchill turned the guns, when he was a Liberal, turned the guns on his own people in this country. It's not a first, putting the army on the streets. But now they've got, just as a little aside, they've now got an inquiry into the Orgreave pit and the miners. And from mining stock, I'm sure if you live in a mining area, you will know that Orgreave and others had army on the ground. They were wearing police uniforms. They just didn't have their numbers or epaulets. It was army. And the miners were fighting for their lives and for their pits and for their communities and for their families. And now, 40 years later, look at the shitstorm we're going through. We're now going to have Brit Card. So you can't work, you can't feed, you can't travel, you can't do anything unless the Chinese Communist Party says, right lads, or World Economic Forum, and Klaus Schwab says, right lads. They don't care. They would rather, and I'm being brutally honest with you, they would rather you die. And you're not going to fight this? What is it that's going to wake you up? I said at the beginning of this live, there are people that are so far asleep, if you want to go the Matrix again, they're so inured with the system that they are never going to fight the system because they believe the system loves them. It doesn't. They're cannon fodder. Wait till the army's on the streets of this country. I mean, now we've got the police taking the illegal immigrants from Epping and putting them in Canary Wharf. Oh, the money boys in Canary Wharf. Can you imagine them going to work every day? Oh, I say, scroats on the streets, what are we going to do? £400 a night? I used to take my mistress in there, snort some Charlie and bang her all night. Well, you don't... Look, I've been around the money boys. I know exactly what they do. English bottle cap. I can remember when Downing Street was not gated. That was Thatcher. Or was it Major? No, it was Major. Because didn't the IRA try to bomb 10 Downing Street, and they weren't far away from doing it, and Major and some of his ministers were actually in the garden having a meeting. Oh, I say, John, what the bloody hell was that? Oh, I don't know. Sounded like a bomb to me. Can't be a bomb, John. It's number 10. Shit themselves. And it's only when they shit themselves do the politicians turn around and go, oh, I think we should do something about it. But they're already doing something about it at Ozempic Palace and the House of Lords. David Brass. What next? He says, a license to have children. Childbirth figures are already low. 2-child cap, or have we forgotten about that Starmer soundbite? Oh no, we haven't forgotten. It's just it's on a long list. It's a litany of evil coming out of the Labour government. Phil Levant says the IRA almost killed Thatcher in Brighton. I know. Imagine the country now if they had. The homemade mortars landed in Number 10's gardens. Or were they inside, Terry? Apologies. So the mortars landed in the gardens and they were inside going, oh, I say, what the bloody hell? And look, this is what they are. This is what they're doing. They are getting us to the point where, and remember, I've told you about the Georgia Guidestones. The playbook for what is coming was on the Georgia Guidestones. And they blew it up. They blew them up. They are deceased. That parrot is dead. It is no more. The Georgia Guidestones, you can find them online, obviously, but they'll sanitize the internet and get rid of that. It said, keep the population under 500 million worldwide. We're at 8 billion currently, so they need to kill a shitload off over the next few generations. And that's why, so what they do, the youth don't know whether they're Arthur or Martha, so they don't know which holes are gold. They don't know whether they're going to have a lovely relationship, marry, settle down and have 2 or 3 kids. The nuclear family, 2 kids, 1 boy, 1 girl. They're not going to have kids now. And all these ludicrous women, the boss bitches. Oh, yeah, I need a man of value. What? And the men are going, I don't ain't shite. I'm off out for a beer with the lads. Men are just going to be men. We've got goats and we've got sheep. What the bloody hell do we need women for? Cooking and the washing up. I know that's misogynistic, but that humour is there to direct you to understand that you are in a position of such utter evil you don't even know it. That it's mission creep. Men don't fancy women anymore. Women want men of status with high value. What do you bring to the table? Well, me. I love me. The youth of this country are lost until we fight a war, of course, and then it'll be, there's the uniform, there's your gun, off you go to the front line. No. My mum says, I can't, I was told a story, genuine story, and the police forces of this country are major league. So a probie, a newbie, is in some car and they're going to something that wasn't very nice. And the WPC, or female cop, rang her dad. I don't want to do this. I don't want to go to this. So her dad rang the sergeant and says, my daughter doesn't want to go to this. She's too traumatized. And the sergeant says she'll do as she's told. And her dad says, no, she's my daughter. She doesn't want to go and do it. So the sergeant says to the dad, are you sure you want to go down this route? And the dad says, yes. He said, okay, not a problem. Stop the car, get out. What do you mean? You're a serving police officer. You've refused an order. We need to go to this. Oh, I can't, too much blood and snot and stuff, and I can't. She was sacked 3 days later. But this is a human being that had a perception of what being a police officer was about. But the reality was completely different. When she faced the reality, she couldn't face it, couldn't do it, and she lost her job because she couldn't follow orders. Simple as that. But it was the dad. My daughter doesn't want to do it. Are you sure you want to go down this route, sir? Yeah, absolutely. I don't want my daughter going to that job. Okay, no problem. Stop the car. Out. You can walk back. So Brit Card is a thing, and it's coming. And if you go to the Labour Party website, what I've just read you is there. And also, there's a PDF if you want to download it and have a look at the detail. Possibly, and there is a timeline there, but they want to implement it summer 2025. So you know what they're going to do, don't you? They've already told you. They told you about it the week before Parliament broke up last week. They said to you, digital ID, digital ID, digital ID. They've been planning this for fucking years. They've been planning this since 1997. They've been planning stakeholder capitalism since the inception of the World Economic Forum. Now, I get that you don't pay attention, but the reason for this live, the reason for this channel is to bring those critical thinkers together, to know that they're not isolated, they're not on their own, and there are other people thinking exactly the same way as them. That's why I do it, because this is important. Thank you for all the comments. I'm going to ask you a question now. Let me just find it. Right. So, I'm going to ask you a straight question. It's 1 for yes, 2 for no. And we're not judging. I genuinely want to know what your feelings are. Question 1. 1 for yes, 2 for no. You know what's coming. Do you support the use of the Brit Card? Do you support the use of the Brit Card? Kaz and Tucker and Neil and Simon, everybody, every, it's no, it's 100%. Tamara and Fatal Racing Driver and David Graham and Nikki Watson and Shane Horn, Catwoman Jones and Sam, I See You, Vix Tex, Karina Jane, Tom Harneys, Raymond Moore, Leah, William Tulloch, everybody, Paul West, Phil Sumner, Soul Rebel, Lovely Lamb Lunch. It's bollocks, said a spokesperson. Trailblazer, 2. So everybody that's first timer in the chat, I know there's quite a few first timers. There you go. It's a mass cherry popping. It's 100% no. Lionel Layton, don't be an arse. But it's, again, it's very easy, like keyboard warriors. It's very easy for you and I just to kind of debate this, chat this, comment upon it. But Lovely Lamb Lunch, yeah, I'll get to the next question. Don't worry, there's another 3. It's about mobilization. Now, I'm not using this platform to rise everybody up. I'm not. What I do is I give you information to give you context, thereby knowledge, thereby understanding. That's the route that I want to take you down. Context, knowledge, understanding. And once you've got the understanding, the scales fall from your eyes. Alan Daffis, never in Europe. Hewitt Super Sub, 2. There you go. Lionel Layton says, oh, just signed in and I had finger trouble. Not a problem, not a problem. 100% says no. So I'm going to ask you another question. Remember, it's 1 for yes, 2 for no. Question 2. Do you believe what this Labour government tells you? 1 for yes, 2 for no. Agincourt. Do you believe what this Labour government tells you? 1 for yes, 2 for no. Wow. Wow. 100% no. Ray Hart, good to see you in the body of the Kirk, Ray. Tamara, thank you. Rusty's Roamings, thank you. Karina Jane, all 2. Stuart, you're smooth talking. No, I believe what Adrian Allen tells me. You're too kind. Paul Mabley, yeah, wrong and well-hung lesbian. To be fair, I don't believe any sitting government, says Helen Earth. I'm not sure if I've popped your cherry before, Helen, but I was going to leave this till the end, till the very, very end. Lauren Taylor, 2. David Bevan, 2. Dominic Beresford, 2. Amalia Grassi definitely doesn't want it. Or doesn't trust them at all as far as she can split them. As a newbie, is this live or was this informative? If it is, I will subscribe. David Brass, every single live. 4 lives a week, Sunday through Wednesday. Sunday and Wednesday, 8 p.m. Monday and Tuesday, 7:30. It is literally this. And please, if you can, spread the word. It's interactive because I used to present phone-ins on the radio all over the country. And I want this to be interactive. It's not just about me kind of spouting off and, shouting at you. Because I do tend to rant a bit. But it's about shining a light on the lies that are being perpetrated as truth. I think that's what we do. And this, as the Reverend Adrian Allen, I deliver a sermon from the pulpit of truth to the pews of justice. And the justice is evidently reigned in the comments. So, David, thank you very much. We'll get on to some other stuff. We'll get to a couple of other questions later. But as I say, I didn't even tell you what was going to be in the sermon. So, Brit Card, flying the Union flag or owning a dog. The ghost of Epstein. Oh, I say. David Beckham. Yeah, David Beckham's back in the bloody press today. Oh, man. Dad, are we in shite? So we'll do Beckham. We're going to do something on Elvis. The Labour Party, we'll get to that. Popcorn America, as I'm calling it. So who's going to jail? And who's being freed? We'll do that. Ukraine update. Lockdown truths coming out. So I'm going to make this prediction for you. And I could be really wide of the mark. I've told you before, I'm not psychic. I don't have any insight into, if I did, I'd be winning the bloody lottery every Saturday night. So what is going to be of this country? Unless we mobilise, unless we start showing our dissent, and the reason why Ozzy Osbourne's on the front of all the newspapers, why they're talking about the illegal immigrants, because they want to use the illegal immigrant to get Brit Card in. Once they've got Brit Card in, they've got you. They've got you by your short and curlies. They literally have your nads in their hand laughing at you. So to all the politicians, my balls, your chin. Do you know why they say that you have to have democratic elections in a country? Because you think that having democratic elections gives you the illusion of choice. It's democracy. That's how democracy works. To be part of Europe, you have to hold democratic elections. See, that's how they control you. It's the illusion. Do you not understand that? It's the illusion of democracy. There's no such fucking thing. Look at the City of London. It's not even part of the United Kingdom. So I'm going to ask you a question, but it's a rhetorical question because I'm going to go on and explain it to you. So what happens if politics no longer exists? I'll say that to you again. What happens if politics no longer exists? So look at, and this is the only channel, if David's still watching, this is the only channel that brought this to the public's attention. Something called the Seville Commitment. It was signed by Backdoor Starmer because he's taken us into Europe via the back door. That's why I call him Backdoor. He could be Lord Starmer of the back door. And I have to sort of, I have to be very careful legally about what I say in certain things, which is why I evidence it and I corroborate it the way that I do. So if you're new to the channel, that's why I do it. So what happens if politics no longer exists? So the next 5 years. So Brit Card, they start the white paper, they start the implementation, 2025. They wanted in and part of our infrastructure, as they say on the Labour Party website, by 2027. They want it started in 2025. Within 2 full years of Parliament, they want it ratified and in. But the Seville Commitment, why would they need that? And the Seville Commitment, paraphrasing and simplifying it, is whatever this government has done, the next government can't undo it. The Seville Commitment is a European-wide edict. the Seville commitment. They all signed it, and it is that this government, whatever this government does, the next government, Farage and Reform, can't undo it. It becomes international law because it was an international treaties and it was signed in Spain. World Economic Forum, anyone? These people are abjectly evil. Essentially, this is still a battle and a war, good against evil. Good has to win. Because if evil wins, we are literally bent over and we have the political cock up our arse. I can't even say it properly, it makes me so angry. Even Ginger Growler's got 2 beds. Obviously, she's just going to line them all up. Bend over. I'm wearing a strap on. They're going to do away with politics. So I'll ask you this question. If they've got Brit Card and they've got control of you, why would they need the illusion of politics to distract you? Because they've got you. This is why Brit Card is such an important thing to get gone. We have our driving licenses, we have our passports, we have our NHS numbers, we have any amount of different references. And if I go to my doctors, I don't take my passport, I take my NHS number. If I'm asked by a cop, do you have a license, sir? Yeah, I don't give them my passport, I give them my fucking driving license. So it's situation appropriate. But once Brit Card is in, and remember, it'll be Europe-wide, worldwide, every single country on planet Earth. One world government. Anyone? You thought that was never going to happen. And it's mission creep. They've got you by your nads, man. As I say, any politician watching this, my balls, your chin. So you're now thinking, well, hang on a second, Adrian. Well, get rid of politics. It's been around for hundreds and hundreds of years. We've got the Ozempic Palace, the mother of all parliaments. So, hang on. The politicians are merely actors who are doing the bidding of our other countries, Chinese Communist Party, World Economic Forum. They're Manchurian candidates. They're doing the bidding of other countries. And what they have to do, because this is one of the oldest countries in the world, we have thousands of years worth of history. We have all of the old money in the city of London. Switzerland and London running the money worldwide. So you're saying, how can they do away with politicians? What would politicians actually do? I'm asking you, what would politicians do? They're actors. They're corrupt. They're not doing it for the good of you or your community or your family. It's always politicians first and last. Show me the money. So I can see a time where Brit Card is implemented. Well, I would like to think that there's going to be riots on the streets, as the Smiths once sang. Panic on the streets of Birmingham, or however you want to term it. That's why they've built the fence around the House of Lords. That will come out in the press tomorrow or not at all. Because they don't want you to know, unless you go down to London. But the politicians are not going to be needed because it'll be autocrats, digital ID and autocrats. Or AI. They'll use AI. And how can you argue with AI? You want to travel to where? Spain? No. Hello, Enshite. Your name's not down. You're not on the computer. So we don't need politicians. Once Brit Card is in, and I do hope, I'm being really straight with you, I hope that it never, ever, ever happens. It's pitch black outside and there's a crow in the tree outside my house arguing with me. So we no longer need the illusion of democracy. We don't. As Brit Card facilitates the total control needed. Autocrats will deal with us. Hello, my name's Adrian. I haven't got a job. Can I have a job? Let's have a look at your digital ID. And you've criticised the government on, well, in the past year alone, you've criticised the government 1,000 times. So in the words of the great Chinese philosopher, Foxtrot Oscar, you're not getting a house. But I need a job. How can I get food? Well, you can eat crickets. We don't have crickets in this country. We'll import them for you then. I don't have any money. Ah, well, starve to death. But I need a house for me kids and me wife. Oh, well, here's a tent. One of the illegal immigrants left it last time, so you can use a tent. And what about, can we not go on holiday? No, you can't. That is all coming. All of it. And the EU, they want to allow people into this country, but not out of this country. They want people to have visas or whatever, the digital ID, that means that they have freedom of movement under the age of 30 into the country. So if they want armed response from Europe into this, I mean, Schengen, my hairy backside. I've known Schengen for, decades. The Schengen area is still there. There's bloody Jimmy Cranky in Scotland going, oh, well, we need to be back in Europe. No, you don't, you bloody, moron. First Minister, back of the queue. So that's what's coming with Brit Card. They don't need politicians. What they're going to do is they're going to, and this may take, look, it might take 10 years, 20 years, 30 years. And even if I'm off this, I've shuffled off this mortal coil and I'm upstairs on me cloud with me halo and me wings and playing me harp very nicely, you might go, bloody hell, that Adrian Allen 30 years ago was right. But he's playing his harp. One world government, new world order. How long have you been hearing those expressions? They're still there. Bilderberg Group, still operating. World Economic Forum, still operating. Club of Rome, still operating. And you think these people are going to go? They eat kids for lunch, man. Hundreds of thousands of children go missing every single year in America. Tens of thousands of children go missing in this country every year. Where do you think they go? Adrenochrome, anybody? It is a death match between good and evil. Not biblical, but good and evil. Let me take some of your comments. Build back better, of course, Des. Terry says the SNP were hoping to get back into Europe simply for the European economic development money. Forlorn hope when countries like Albania and Romania are a hell of a lot poorer. And the other thing that Jimmy Cranky wanted to be a head of state, because there's a difference between being First Minister and head of state. So she wanted to go back into Europe, have isolate Scotland from the rest of Great Britain and be a head of state. So she would get all of the plaudits and all of the nice baubles that go with being a head of state, as Rishi Sunak and Starmer the Harmer and Johnson the Clown all got as head of state. Jimmy didn't get any. That's what it was about, in my view. Hang on, what was that? What was going on with the dog barking yesterday? So I had a dog barking last night, arguing with me. Now I've got a bloody crow. It's shut up, though, because it's dark. It's thinking, oh, better get home to my wife, otherwise I'll be in trouble. Scootin' the Boot, Scotland. Jimmy Cranky. I'm not even going to say her name. Okay, now, have you seen Jimmy Cranky lately? You never see Nicola Sturgeon and Jimmy Cranky in the same room. White feathers now, ravens. I know. If you're awake to it all. Anyway, what else? I just wanted some of your comments. Nobody will be allowed to get old. Oh, we're back to Logan's Run. You get 33, and there's all these old blokes, the one world government, the new world order. They go, you're dead. 33, right? You've had your peak. 20s were your peak. You need to die now. And they started killing people off. Now, I thought at the time, wow, it's a bit brutal, 33, bloody hell. I mean, I was 16 or 17 at the time, so 33 may as well have been the other side of the moon. But if you look at Logan's Run, the film, it might actually come true because they have to. They'll stop us from mating. Let's have a look. Brit Card. When was the last time you had sex? 6 months ago. Oh, you can wait another 6 months. Because they can't have me and thee knocking kids out. They want us all to die off, man. And it'll get to like 500 million where, you know, the grass is lush and green and the world is beautiful. And then they'll go, right, everybody, we've killed everybody off. Now start shagging and start knocking the kids out. Paul McCaughey, the monarch is head of state. She could, of course, appoint herself Queen of Scotland. There's plenty of queens in Scotland, let me tell you. Adrian, I hope all this doesn't happen, but I'm scared for my and my grandchildren's future. Michelle, the reason why I don't sugarcoat it is because it's important. It's important for, if the wealthy can plan for 3 generations and everybody else just plans for a Saturday night, it's important that we start thinking like the wealthy and looking after our bloodlines, our offspring, because they just think we're grunts. They just think that we're cash cows to be used and abused. And we're not. We are human beings. We are, and I've said this many times, we are a fractal of the ineffable, experiencing itself as consciousness. So we are all God, part of God, experiencing itself as consciousness. And these bloodlines know that. They know. Jackie Glasgow, hang on a second. Is that why they... And then you've cut it off. War is what it's good for. War? What is it good for, said Edwin Starr. Absolutely nothing. Yeah, Ray. Tampered water, food, air. And if you look at... So they put it into the press because they've got to tell us. The evil ones need to tell us before they do it. So then they don't have any karmic repercussions. And they said, oh, yeah, we're gonna seed the clouds. And everybody went, well, we've seen the chemtrails. Obviously, you're doing it already. And now, just as a little aside, in America, what's that Senator Taylor Greene? She's a Trump supporter. She's actually putting a bill through their Senate to say that you cannot tamper with the weather. They're going to make sure that it is law in America that you can't tamper with the weather. But again, for the newbies that come here, that have either first time or second or third time, the countries that you need to watch closely so that you understand what's coming here next: Canada, Australia, and New Zealand, because they're only a couple of years ahead of us. They've already had things. Off the top of my head, I can't think, but like COVID. What can I say? Politicians off their face on Coca-Cola. Seen those videos. Any opinion on what Labour is doing about Ofwat? What they're doing is, I'll get back to Canada and Australia in a second. Basically, English bottle cap, what they're doing is they are sweeping it under the carpet. So that whatever is going on now, like Thames Water, billions in debt, but they're still giving their shareholders their bonuses, their whatever. People are still making money from it, but they're not investing in the infrastructure. So they don't care. They don't care. So all they'll do is they'll just change the governing body to oversee it, and the governing body, the new governing body, will do exactly the same as the old governing body. Absolutely naff all. Nothing. Nix, nada, nout. But because they've already gotten rid of the old governing body, then the old governing body is kind of, nobody will do anything about it. I've said this in the lives recently. Israel is one of the best desalination countries in the world because it's a desert. Israel's a desert. Like Jerusalem. Jerusalem's up a mountain. First time I went there, my vertigo, oi, 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 oi. I thought this was flat. It is once you get to the top. So Jerusalem, old town, old city, whatever. It's up a bloody mountain. Amalia, yes, it's chilly, but I've got my window open. I'm from the north. It's not really cold until it gets at least -20. Paul McCaughey, the pollution caused by the water company stops when the CEOs get prison sentences. I agree completely with you, Paul. We need to stop this. But you see, the politicians are taking backhanders left, right, and centre. So the CEOs stay out of prison, and they just give the politicians, oh, look after me. Yeah, there's a million, there's 100 grand, there's a nice holiday in the Maldives. So long as it can't be traced, the politicians. So if we're getting rid of the politicians, so it's do we get rid of the politicians and take Brit Card, or do we keep the politicians and get rid of Brit Card? Pop-eyed Wazza, spot on. It won't stop until we stop paying. But look at the tax burden that they're putting on us. And you know, these inept fools running the government, Reeves et al., they're going to start borrowing again. I mean, this is the end of the Labour Party, because we're old enough to remember that every single Labour government borrows to the hilt to try and keep everything going, whilst corruptly giving backhanders here, there, and everywhere. That's why Starmer don't care. He's giving in Sniffy and he's in Rent Boys all this money. 100 years, 3 billion a year, 300 billion pounds. Imagine what we could buy for that. We could have an infrastructure for water in this country second to none around the world. But Starmer don't care. He's getting Coca-Cola on trains with Merck and Macron. Macron, I mean, he needs to have a word with his husband in that fucking wig. And they're all at it. I've told you before, Roman Empire, women for procreation, men for recreation. And now you're looking at the elite, they're all banging each other. Emile, touch your toes. No, the wonder. Child rate's going down. Brit Card will quickly become Brit Chip. Oh, English bottle cap. Yeah, well, yeah. And you know who wants to chip us all, don't you? Elon. And you think he's a nice guy? Okay, no. Lauren Taylor, I'm on Lancs, Yorkshire border. It's a bit drizzly here, but not cold. My thermo saying 22. Cool, 22 this time of night. Blimey. I've got other stuff that I want to talk to you about, and it's really important stuff. So I did ask you for 2 hours, and I'm going to try and get this through. So we've had digital ID. Let's talk about the ghost of Epstein. Do you want me to do that? Because grab your popcorn, and you're going to need a massive bucket for it. Because Trump is annoyed that they've tried to nail him with Epstein. So you know that Obama can't be done for treason because technically he's not American. Obama is going to need Big Mike to protect him. Big Mike. Got a cock the size of a small country. Big Mike. Oh, I say, Adrian, what are you saying? I'm telling you that the kids, the Obama kids, are not the Obama kids. They're just rental. According to the conspiracy theorists. And there's Barrick. Oh, I went to Harvard. No, you really didn't. Bathhouse Barry, as he was known to his protection and intelligence officers. Bathhouse Barry. You never heard of Bathhouse Barry? Hello, mate. Yeah, my name's Barry. I just, have you got any soap? They portray themselves as one way for votes, shits and giggles. And actually, the reality is completely different. Now, I really don't have a problem with anybody's sexual predilection. I don't care. But when you're lying to me, it's the lies that do you. Anybody can do anything they want within the law. But a president lying? Oi, 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 oi. And then dropping bombs like they're going out of fashion. And killing tens of thousands of people. So we've got a battle going on in America, and this is the battle. Trump trying to do the best by America. I mean, he's human, so I'm sure he's faulted. But then you've got the evil left. You've got the Democrats, the evil, 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 evil left, trying to get him gone because he's going to flatten them. So it's a death match, political death match. And if Trump wants America to be the crypto capital of the world, now we know why they want digital currencies. Because if you've got Brit Card, remember what's going to come after Brit Card? Digital currencies. So they're going to make you lose everything, and it's just going to be a balance sheet on a screen. You work, you exchange, crypto. They'll make it against the law to own any fiat currency. What I'm talking about is paper money, whether it's a fiver, a tenner, a 20, a 50, a pound coin, £2 coin. They're going to make those illegal. But they can only do that after Brit Card. So I'll say it to you again. America wants to be crypto capital of the world. They're going to get rid of their fiat currency, a bit like France and Germany. They got rid of the franc and the Deutschmark when they brought the euro in. It's all mission creep. It's all slowly, catchy monkey. But America, you know that the flight logs, so we'll talk about the ghost of Epstein. You know the flight logs and the little black book. They've been available for years. I don't know why people are going, release the detail, release the detail. Look, there was 14 terabytes of the elite shagging kids. And then it was, no, because they were taken out of Epstein's properties. No. It's not the elite shagging kids. It's porn. It's porn. They think we're thick. It's blackmail. One nation under blackmail. That's the whole shtick, the grift. The Mossad and Israel running the world. Because all of the leaders of the political parties that are in power are all compromised. And the reason why Thatcher was so good, whatever your political allegiance, they couldn't corrupt her. She wasn't compromised. I mean, Dennis, well, she had her 2 kids, boy and girl. She wasn't compromised. And in the end, they just had to say, Margaret, you're going to have to leave. Couldn't control her because she wasn't compromised. But if you look at all the bloody prime ministers ever been, and I'm avoiding some of them for very obvious reasons, because I know more, absolutely more, than I'm letting on. And some of the stuff I know, you can't even find on the net. Dark web, yes. Net, no. So I would suggest to you that every single prime minister of this country is compromised. Has been for the last... Well, Churchill wasn't. Thatcher wasn't. But you can look at, as I say, Ted Heath, dead now. So some of the rent boys he took out of Morning Cloud. Go and do your research. Don't take my word for it. Tony Blair, compromised. And I won't name any more. So Epstein, I mean, it was a beautiful system. He was just getting everybody compromised, including Prince Andrew. Epstein wasn't around when Lord Mountbatten was around, and Lord Mountbatten, you think Andrew is bad. Fucking hell, Lord Mountbatten and his missus, go, any Arthur or Martha. They were swingers, they were orgyists, they were into any kinds of shit, man. Remember, Lord Mountbatten, blown up by the IRA. That stopped his games. They never did. Did they arrest anybody from the IRA for that? So, this has been happening since the end of World War II, if not before. But they've got the technology now. 14 terabytes of videos. They're now saying it's got nothing to do with the elite or anything like that. No. It's just porn. Really? Liars, liars, pants on fires. So these flight logs and little black book that have been available for years, because I've seen them. Have you not asked the question? So you know the little black book with all the names and the telephone numbers, like Mandy Mandelson's in there and all kinds of people. It wasn't Epstein's little black book, it was Ghislaine Maxwell's. Because if you look at that contact book, you can tell the American numbers have a suffix. Meaning, you know, if you're outside of the country, this country, for GB, you've got to dial 44. Take the 0 off and then put the number in. So if you look at these, the little black book, it was Ghislaine Maxwell's. Because the American numbers have a suffix. The British numbers don't. It's that simple. But Ghislaine Maxwell, on the other hand, jailed for victimless crimes. Well, technically, there are victims because they've all come out and said so. There are victims. But they're not being allowed to speak. And Virginia Giuffre? Look, if they can murder a princess. So Virginia Giuffre seemingly was going to name others and did name others to certain journalists. One of which I've invited on this show. But Maxwell is seemingly going to be told to name the guilty men. So keep watching. Get your popcorn. It ain't over. It ain't over, not by a long stretch. I think we'll leave the Beckham watch because there's not much of a story. We'll leave the Elvis. We'll get to the Union flag in a moment. So do you think that this... right, I'll ask a question now. 1 for yes, 2 for no. 1 for yes, 2 for no. So who would you rather see go to prison first? 1, Hillary Clinton. 2, Barack Obama. So Hillary Clinton, the adrenochrome queen, or Bathhouse Barry. Who would you rather see go to jail first? Because it's coming. Is it 1, Hillary Clinton, 2, Barack Obama? Ooh. Well, Amanda Sky says both, which, yeah, fair comment. Ray Norton, 1. Phil Sumner, 1. Wow. She's not got a good rep as old Hillary, has she? I would say it's probably 80% Hillary. Des Ashton says both with keys thrown away. Wow. Thank you, Dale. So, Rebel, Sophie's Choice Aid. Can't do it. I doubt either will. They seem to get away with anything with their resources. Yeah, but the Donald is fighting back. The Donald's not going to muck about. Absolutely categorically. He's gonna deal with them because of all this stuff going on with Epstein. He knows what the deal is. And if you look at the way things are reported, on the one hand, you have the Donald straight out of the blocks doing all this kind of stuff for the first 100 days. Amazing. But then you have the Democrats who are just sitting and waiting. They want him gone. They want him disappeared. Possibly unalived. President of the United States, I mean. Would America really assassinate their president? Well, it's done before, and they've attempted an assassination last year. Phil Sumner, thank you. Have they already been taken out? No, I'm just asking your opinion, says Chris. No, I'm asking your opinion because they seem to be public enemy number 1 and 2 in America at the moment. And it's a fight to the death, Democrats and Republicans. And J.D. Vance is going to holiday in the Cotswolds this year when Donald goes up to Scotland. J.D. Vance, what is he? Ellen DeGeneres super fan or something? I mean, the Cotswolds? That's swinging territory, the Cotswolds. Have they got pampas grass outside of his house that he's going to rent? What do you mean, how do I know that? I'll read the newspapers. JFK, Dale Steele, done before and already attempted the Donald. I know. Oh, sorry, Lincoln and JFK, of course. They only get replaced by the same, says I see you. I know. So let's do some quickies. So you think this is all madness. You think that everything is happening is madness. It's not. It's planned. So the Brit Card, that's been on the books for years. This is not chaos. It's M&S chaos. The master plan is the decline of Great Britain. They want to sell off the housing stock so you will have nowhere to live because they want controlling. They just want to control you. If you can't get a house, you can't afford a mortgage, what are you going to do? Live in a tent? Of course not. They'll rent it to you under certain conditions. You'll have to work for the government. You'll have to rent your house from the government. Oh, sorry. BlackRock, Vanguard, State Street, JP Morgan. They're doing this worldwide. This is because we live on an island. We're not aware of what's happening in Canada or in Australia or New Zealand. Just keep an eye on those three countries. Why? Because the people running those countries are World Economic Forum puppets. You've got Mark Carney. Why is Mark Carney being given the prime ministerialship of Canada? Because he was head of the Bank of England. He's now going to implement digital currencies in Canada. That's his only job. Only job. And Australia? Whoa. Rule that with an iron fist. They're all left-wing arseholes. Technical term before you start. So what is happening is the poor are poor. They're never going to get out of that trap. They'll own nothing and be happy. But have you noticed it's the pensioners and the middle classes that Labour are after? What Labour are trying to do, and it's all going to plan, they want to impoverish the middle classes. I mean, if you look at it, the working classes are all on ketamine. The middle classes are probably swinging, having affairs, playing the Roman Empire game. Women for procreation, men for recreation, and doing Charlie. Because human beings are really easy to control. As I've said to you, never done drugs, never even smoked a cigarette in my life. Don't drink. What do you do? I do lives 4 times a week. I'm a bit like Thatcher. They can't corrupt me. But the elite always remain in power. Always. So I've tried to explain to you and give you the different jigsaw pieces for the puzzle, your personal puzzle, tonight and last night and the night before and the night before. And I'll stay on this game. So, Popcorn America. Who's going to get jail time? Epstein. But you know, Tulsi Gabbard has just released reports proving that Barack Obama, Bathhouse Barry, Big Mike, directly gave the order to publish the Russian collusion hoax. So look, the Democrats, they said, oh, it's the bloody Russians. They're just trying to get the Donald into power. Oh, it's the bloody Russians. So I'm going to read this to you again. Tulsi Gabbard just released reports today proving that Barack Obama directly gave the order to publish the Russian collusion hoax, knowing there was no proof that Putin backed Trump. None. So Gabbard has just proved that Obama lied again in his statement yesterday. And you can look at the statements that these people release, and it kind of, I did not have sexual relations with that woman. No, you just had to wank yourself off behind the desk in the Oval Office. Define sexual relations. One off the wrists, not relations. Mucky tart. Prefers his bananas green, that man. When was the last time he had sex with his wife? So Obama is going to end up rotting in a prison cell. But Big Mike can be his personal security. You know, for the last couple of weeks, I've been asking you, where's Sniffy? As in, Volodymyr Zelensky. Where's Sniffy? Has he joined the Wagner Group? Where's Sniffy, man? Well, the serious developments in Kiev. I know there are people watching this who understand this and have forethought and knowledge of this. But there's been some serious developments in Kiev over the last 48 hours. So my source told me that Zelensky has taken out the anti-corruption agencies because he was informed by the SBU that they were compiling cases against him with US intelligence support. So Sniffy Zelensky hit first. Rumours are that the White House is working to remove Zelensky, and those rumours are everywhere in Kiev. And Zelensky's knee-jerk has hit on the Western-backed anti-corruption agencies, shows that those agencies have weight. Now, within Kiev, the word on the street is there's big street protests now ongoing with Sniffy. You know the Klitschko brothers, the boxers? Well, one of the Klitschko brothers is joining these ongoing demonstrations, and this actually could snowball rapidly. So I've said to you, Russia and Ukraine, it was all about the gas and oil under Crimea in the Black Sea. I mean, Ukraine sold off some of their minerals and some of their bits and bats and all that, and it's supposedly the breadbasket of Europe. Also, one of the most corrupt countries in the world. That's why Mr. 10%, Joe Biden, is he dead yet? I think that announcement's going to come soon, so America can go into mourning. So Joe, Mr. 10%, trousered, 94 million quid, $94 million, $94 million, $94 million out of the money that America sent to Ukraine. Nancy Pelosi, bless her, she got 20 million out of the deal. Mr. 10%. So the war was a money laundering exercise. Don't you know that? America, Jesus, laundered billions. Sniffy bought a whole load of hotels in Eilat. Fact. Bought a whole load of stuff, properties in America. His missus wanted a Bugatti out of Paris, and Bugatti shit themselves when they thought that she was going to buy a $6 million car. No. That went a little quiet, you don't think? So Zelensky has blamed Russian interference. And I've also said to you that there are certain factions within his own army that want him dead. And I'm not suggesting that anybody should die. I wish everyone long life, good health. But Sniffy, if this snowballs rapidly, predictably, Zelensky will blame Russian interference. He wants to stay in power for as long as possible. He's making a shit ton of money by the billion. Why would he want to leave? Because he's going to be told. Right? We've done what we need to. Bugger off. Foxtrot Oscar, down to your hotel complex in Eilat. The one that you bought with American dollar. Quickies. Ginger growler. 2 beds, 7 grand. Evidently 3.5 grand each if you can do the math. But ginger growler, 2 beds. I mean, is she a bed destructor? What would you want 2 beds for? Unless you use one until the springs go and then you buy another. The Lords, they're blocking outside investment into British newspapers. Oh, I wonder why that is. The propaganda peddlers, why would the Lords block outside investment into British newspapers? Because they want to control the propaganda. Remember the doctor's 5-day strike? It's coming, money-grabbing bastards. Royals, little George, 12-year-old. Can you remember when you were 12-year-old? Remember when you got your first pubes? 12-year-old. Bless him. Mama, Papa, I'm having nocturnal emissions. Oh, you're only 12, George. Don't worry. No Meghan, though, surprisingly. No, as in, normally when the royals have something that they're going to promote within the propaganda peddlers, then Meghan or Harry always turn up. Just remember this. I will do more about this on other lives, and I'll take deeper dives. But the United Nations, that's the UN, the WHO, not as in doctor, World Health Organization, and NATO, the North Atlantic Treaty Organization. I'm going to ask you a question. Are they the new axis of evil? UN, NATO, who? They're going to control you very, very soon. Oh, Brit Card, anybody? So, if you get word, just tell me why they've built that off fence around the Lords. What are they getting ready for? Us being upset, I would imagine. So just remember, Zelensky's a paid actor. He's gone, he's gone, he's gone, he's gone, he's gone, he's gone, he's gone. But the money has been frittered away all over the world. United States Agency for International Development. So, summer riots, yeah. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Honest reviews. Thank you very much. Yeah, if we can get it over, there's 230 people watching at the moment. So please, if you can, just smash the likes. Smash the likes. Please get it over 200, because seemingly, what I'm told, the algorithm or the audience goes, oh, hello. Maybe we should watch that. So I hope what I've delivered tonight is of value to you. It gives you insight, knowledge, understanding. And the next live is Sunday, although there is something happening in the background where my usual studio, I might not be here. I've been put on standby for International Man of Mystery. Whether that comes off or not, I'll tell you on Sunday. But the next live is Sunday at 8, whether I'm in this country or another. But I will tell you, I always tell you, Napoleon blown apart. World War III, anyone? I don't think in the conventional sense, Napoleon blown apart. Not in the conventional sense. They don't want, well, why are they bringing nukes to this country? Because America never, ever, ever want war on their own front doorstep. They want wars in Europe where they can make a shit ton of money and there's no damage to America. Bad Wolf Project, International Battenberg Smuggler. You've rumbled me, Bad Wolf Project. How do I smuggle Battenberg? Don't answer. You're wrong, unless you know the Battenberg story. And maybe with the amount of new people in here tonight, I might have to tell that story again. Stuart says, great live, Rev. Some great info. Thanks for all your work and research. I'll continue to do it on your behalf if you don't mind. But thank you for your likes. Please smash them on the way out so I can get over 200 by the time I bring the live to a conclusion. Thank you for your subscriptions. Please make sure that you are subscribed. We're only a couple of hundred away from 10,000, so we're hoping that will happen over the next couple of weeks. Thank you for your likes, your subscriptions, but most of all, your indulgence. My name's Adrian Allen. Wherever you go and whatever you do, please stay safe and healthy. And don't forget the Battenberg. It's important. Emergency supplies. We might need them at some point. But Theatre of the Mind lives are not a show. They're a mission. And the mission continues. Sunday, 8 o'clock. See you then. Look after yourself. Next live coming on Sunday.